In this video, we're going to be discussing useful functions in Excel that are typically used in chemistry or any science class or engineering class. Also, you can use them to create your personal budgets and, simple stuff in Excel. This video contains different functions, so you can jump to the specific function that you want to learn. So let's start explaining how to use the sum function. The sum function is very useful when you have tables and you just want to know the total, right, of a column or a row. Typically, you put the cell where you're going to be calculating the total, in a sequence with the row. If not, you have to do it individually by each of the cells that you want to include in the addition. So again, when you deal with functions, okay, functions is a pre-default, right, from Excel that helps you to, summarize calculations, like simple or very typical calculations. When you're trying to make a function on a cell, you have to make sure that you always put the equal sign. That changes completely the environment here on the ribbon on the tools to only mathematical. Okay, so if you are in this scenario, right, we're trying to calculate the total expenses for the month of February. Let's say you're a consultant for a family that has this net income. So we just want to know how much of the expenses do we have. We write down the equal sign, and if you see here in the function changes also, you can put your cursor here or you can continue on yourself, it doesn't matter. You write down sum, okay, and oops, you see this may happen and now it's adding everything. I'm gonna come back here to my cell. I write down sum, and if you see, there's a lot of options that you may want to consider. In this case, just a simple addition. We're going to do this. A parenthesis is open. And here, what you're going to do is just going to pick the row or column, in this case, that is going to be included in the addition. Here, I just want to record or include my expenses for the month, and then everything is included. You see, this tells you the range of data that you're using from B6 up the way. These 2 points indicate that is the range is up to B17. I press enter and I have my addition. Something that I want to let you know, like a hint, is that when you deal with numbers, there are different type of numbers, right? This is a regular number decimal form, because in my case, I'm doing calculations with money. Okay, you can just write down currency and everything is converted to money. Okay, so this is a pretty cool feature that Excel has. You can use it to do your personal budget, and there's other, functions, date, time, percentages, scientific, if you want to make sure that you have exponents and all of that. So it will depend. You can also have numbers that look like text, and what that means is that they cannot be considered for any calculation. They're just text, no numbers. So it's not like a data for Excel. So now we're gonna explore another function, but this one is one that we will calculate. We're gonna set up that formula so Excel can see it. So when you're creating a formula and you want to copy paste it right to the other, because it's the same calculation for the next row in the table, you have to be aware that some numbers may be fixed and some numbers are being changed every time that you copy paste it. Okay, so this is an example. I want to know how much is the percentage of the expenses in out and export based on the net income of that family. So to do so, right, what I'm doing is a percentages. So it's going to be equal, right? Every time that I do equal, here everything changes. We are creating our own function. I'm going to open the parentheses, and this is really important because Excel needs to know, the order of mathematical operation. So I want to know how much is percentages of auto. So I'm going to pick this, over the whole, right, which is the total net income. I'm gonna close the parenthesis, and then I'm gonna multiply by 100. Okay? And there I have percentage of the total income. Sometimes Excel set us the default number of significant figures after the point. Typically in percentages, it's okay that you handle less amount of significant figures. And the trick is here. Decrease the number of decimal places of this number. So I'm going to decrease it or increase it. I'm going to leave it here at two significant figures after the decimal point. And if you see it rounded, right, using the 5 or more rule, right, here, 6.35 percentage. Some people change here this to percentage. And I want you to see that when you do that, you're changing the identity of the number, because when you do the percentage, Excel actually multiply that again by percentage. So if you use this, you don't need to multiply by 100, but I just want to show you how to do the general calculation, right? Using different mathematical options here. I'm dividing and then multiplying. Anyways, I have my function equals to 6.35, which is great. And then I go and copy paste this to the rest of the column. I'm going to just do it to 1. And if I do that, oh, I see that copy pasting, right? Remember that I'm going to do undo here so you can see it slowly. I just come here, come to the corner, right? And the cursor changes, right? From being white here to black in the corner. I just click, hold, and drag, and I paste the formula to the next row. However, if you see there's something wrong, because how could it be that this number over this give you 6.35, and here that is a very similar number is giving you 100? So there is a trick here, okay? Because Excel, what it's doing is dividing the row that is next, right, to the cell that we're calculating over the one that is on top. And the thing is that if we copy paste it, it's going to do the same. So it's going to pick this cell as the one that is next over the one that is on top. But the problem is that we want to fix the division, right, under the net income. So we need to change this formula a little bit. So to fix columns and row, okay, I just need to add in front of the B, right, which is the green one here, the one that I'm going to be fixing and not changing throughout my calculation. I just do this. I just put I don't know, a dollar sign or currency sign on the B. And when I do that in front of the column, I'm fixing the column, but I'm allowing Excel to vary the row, but I want to make sure that I'm just fixing the row. So I'm fixing here the column and the row. Okay, I press enter and I have a new formula. I need to copy paste again. Oh, now it makes more sense. Okay, so now we are making sure, right, that in this cell, if you see it, the only thing changing is the cell that is next to the calculation, which is the one that is in the denominator. So this is a trick for you. I'm going to do the same, drop and drag, and I have my percentages. I typically want to know if everything makes sense, right? And if you want to make sure what is the total for this, is 89%. So probably there's some money here that is left over in your calculation. This is telling you how much you're expending from your net income. Probably this is just the rest could be used as savings, or it's not being included. Remember, this is a scenario based on budget, but at least you know the total amount of percent, right, that your expenses, right, are using your net income. The rest are using something different. Another cool thing about Excel is that you can update stuff like automatically. Let's say that for February, this is my data for February. I'm gonna just color. This is a really good thing, just to quickly change the color of a column. Let's say that this information is all for February. I'm gonna merge here, you see, to centralize it. So let's say that the information is pretty much the same, okay? So I can just copy. Okay, I'm just copy the two rows and I'm gonna paste it on the right. Okay, and now instead of February, I wanna call it February and then go March. Okay, so let me see if I want to change the color just to this color. Looks nice. Let's say that my net income didn't change, but as this a month I actually saved some money. So I went to auto transfer and I calculated that my expenses were 800. Okay, I want you to see that this is changing. Okay, I'm gonna just click back. Okay, Excel automatically update your data. Okay, your calculations is the same. You are just changing the input, right, of the equation. And the other thing that you have to notice is that here I'm gonna click this, is calling this cell and dividing by this formula. So you probably want to change this to D5. I'm gonna write down D5, right? And like that, if your net income was higher, let's say 4,000, okay, everything is changing accordingly, okay? If you do that, make sure to drag down the data to the new calculation denominator, right? Everything has denominator correctly. Okay, so let's go back. So if I say that maybe I save some money in auto and I earn 500, 800 and I expend 800, you see this is changing and the same thing here, and I spend too much in entertainment. Okay, so it's changing, and then financial, more money on this, and then on food at dining, I save some money, and I don't know, you see, everything is being changed, even the total number of expenses and the percentages. Okay, so this is a pretty cool feature of Excel. Things that you have to notice, again, if you have a fixed cell like the one that I showed you previously, you need to actually change the cell. You can do it by just changing the column number or just erasing this and clicking again and putting the symbols. Okay, remember that we fixed this cell because we need to copy paste it to the next row, and that changes, right, varies the cell that Excel is calling to perform the calculation.